What's up, y'all? I'm Prophetess B, and welcome to my YouTube channel. As always, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being a part of my YouTube family, my YouTube community. I so appreciate every subscriber, everyone that has liked and commented and given such awesome feedback. It really blesses me that you all are blessed by the content that I have been providing you, and so much more is to come. For those of you who are new and you're just now joining my YouTube family, welcome. My name is Brandy Nordgren. I am a wife, a mother, a business owner, an intercessor, a prophet, a servant, a sister, all of those things, like I'm sure many of you all are. And so my YouTube channel is just a place for you to be equipped, empowered, and inspired through the content that I give, whether it's a prophetic word, it is helpful tips for your prayer life, even insight and revelation as the Lord gives it to me. And honey, I might even throw in a beauty and a makeup tip. So this is a platform where you get all things man. And I'm so excited that you are a part of this story and a part of this journey. If you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you click the notification bell so that you don't miss anything that is going to be happening on this channel. Today, I want to talk to you about something that God has really been ministering to me about, and I really believe that it will be a word of instruction and a word of the Lord for many of you who will watch this video. For the last month, God has really been dealing with me concerning wisdom. Now, we hear about wisdom all the time. It is not something new. It is not a mystery, so to speak. It is not something that is foreign to our Christian vocabulary or our understanding. But I think sometimes if we're not careful, when we hear a word or a concept or phrase over and over again, it has the potential to lose its potency or value in our own lives. It's almost like if I've heard it once, I've heard it all. But the Lord really caused this word to resonate in my heart and in my mind. And I believe that there is a word for many of us as we continue to forge through the rest of this year. Today, we're going to talk about two very familiar passages of scripture. The first being Proverbs chapter 4 and the second one, James 1. We probably know these scriptures like the back of our hands. But as I was studying and going deeper, the Lord really showed me a few things that I think will be very beneficial to those of you who are watching. Now, Proverbs chapter 4, the writer is emphasizing three very important things. Number one is not to forsake or abandon the instruction, the guidance, and the wisdom of the reader's father. Number two is to make sure that you get wisdom and take it with you. And the third thing is, in all you're getting, get an understanding. Get an understanding because it is going to be very crucial to your success and leading into your success. Now, the famous scripture that we often quote is in verse 7, where it says, wisdom is the principal thing, and in all thy getting, get an understanding. Now, I want to give you just a couple of definitions, and the first one is wisdom. What exactly is wisdom? In this scripture, wisdom is defined as skill, a skill in war. It is wit, it is prudence, and one of my favorite definitions that it gives says it goes beyond the reach of scorners. A scorner is someone that expresses disdain or contempt in something or someone. So wisdom is the ability to bypass anyone who will hold you or express contempt or disdain in you or something. The second definition is principle. Word principle in the Hebrew is actually supreme. Wisdom is supreme. That means that it is chief. It is number one. There's nothing that supersedes wisdom. There is no second best. There is not an alternative. Wisdom is number one. So the writer is telling the reader, hey, you do not need to skip wisdom. You do not need to abandon or bypass wisdom. If you don't get wisdom, you are going to be in a world of trouble. And then he tells them, in all of your getting, get an understanding. Understanding is knowledge. It is insight. It is intelligence. It is the ability to discern. He's saying, listen, number one, you need to have wisdom. You cannot afford not to have wisdom. And secondly, and everything else that you get an understanding, get insight, get discernment. You need to be able to discern what it is that you are getting. Now, another passage that I want to bring to your attention is James 1 verse 5. Again, a very familiar passage of scripture. It says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, and he will give to all men liberally and upbraid him not. In other words, he will give it to him and not make him feel ashamed for asking. Now, there are a few things that the Lord began to show me as I began to study this. And one of the things that God began to highlight in this scripture to me is that he said, if any man asks. Many of us are experiencing unnecessary pitfalls and unnecessary trials because we have not humbled ourselves and we have not asked God to give us the necessary wisdom. Maybe you were in a season where you did disregard the instruction, the guidance, and the wisdom of the Father. And so now you are trying to figure out how to get it done on your own. Some of you might even be feeling like you're running out of time or running out of patience, and you want to hurry and go and do what it is that you want to go and do. And so you try to bypass wisdom, but the only thing that can come out of bypassing wisdom is fruitlessness and frustration. You cannot afford, as the writer tells the reader in Proverbs 4, you cannot afford to bypass wisdom. You need to get wisdom first before you create your business plan, before you create your marketing strategy, before you begin to invest your time and your money, your energy, your resources. Get wisdom. It is chief. And one of the ways that you get wisdom is by asking. He said, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, and then God will give it to man liberally. He said, you have to humble yourself and ask. The antithesis of wisdom is pride. You have to humble yourself enough to say, I don't have the answers. I don't have it all together. I don't have my ducks in a row. I have not crossed all of my T's and dotted all of my I's. And so I need to ask for wisdom. That's why God said, if you ask me, I will give it to you and not make you feel ashamed. You have to ask for wisdom. The second thing that God began to show me is that not only do you have to ask for wisdom, but there are many of you who are trying to seek wisdom, knowledge, and insight from people that you have deemed worthy, but are not those that are like a father. The writer in Proverbs 4 begins to tell the reader, hey, your father has given you instruction and he has given you the wisdom that you need. Do not forsake it. Do not forsake what he has said. One of the things that it reminded me of is those of us who have children, and when you have to repeatedly say things to your child because it's not quite resonating with them and it's not quite connecting with them in the way that it should, and they begin to be annoyed with you repeating yourself, and so they try to they may communicate that they know it already or they know what it is. Great example, my 4-year-old daughter, she really believes that she has the answers, and she will tell me, Mommy, I already know what I'm doing. I know everything now. And so many of us find us in a state where we are not receptive and not responsible for the instruction that the Father has given us because we feel like we have another way. We have a better way. And so God is saying in James, hey, if you ask me and you lack wisdom, I will give it to you, and I will give it to all men, and I'll give it liberally, and I won't make you feel ashamed. I won't make you feel ashamed for coming back to me and asking for the thing that perhaps you may have forsaken. Now, the other thing that God began to reveal to me is that many of us are trying to get it from a place of those who we esteem as worthy or viable, as opposed to getting it from those who are fruitful. Here is the difference. See, the world vets people for promotion differently than the kingdom vets. The world vets it through credentials. What have you been able to do? Where have you been able to go? Who have you been able to influence? Where has your impact gone? Where is your reach gone? What the kingdom looks at the fruit, the longevity, the healthiness, the integrity, the ethics, the compassion, the love, the motive, the heart of a thing. And so many of us are trying to chase or pursue those who have the platform or the influence or the reach, the success, the money. They have the credentials, but they don't bear the fruit. And God is saying you can't look on what is on the outside, but you need to begin to investigate the fruit. There are going to be many people that you are going to come across. They don't look mighty. They look small in number. They don't have a large platform. Their reach may seem limited. Their influence may seem small, but they have fruit that remains. They have healthy fruit. They are able to multiply and reproduce what God is giving to them. And that is where you should be seeking your wisdom. That is where you should be gaining your insight and your understanding. Do not despise those who do not seem like they have a big platform or big influence, because they will give you the keys to your success. They will give you the wisdom on not just how to get the things, but how to keep the things, and how to be compassionate, and how to be ethical and integral, and how to keep the Spirit of God and the Spirit of wisdom working for you in all things. When we submit ourselves and humble ourselves to wisdom, it will supernaturally bypass those things that will hold you again in contempt and in disdain. There will be nothing that will be able to deny your access. There will be nothing that will be able to deny your destiny, because you did not forsake wisdom, and you did not forsake and you did not reject where wisdom was coming from. It's very important that we do not reject where the wisdom is coming from, because it will come from unlikely places. It will come from seemingly small places. But in the end, these small places will be able to produce and reproduce and multiply the thing that God has given them. I pray that this was encouraging to you. Don't forsake wisdom. Let it be the first thing that you get. And in all of your getting, get an understanding. And if you lack wisdom, humble yourself and ask for it, and God will give it to you. I pray that this has blessed you. If it has, please take a moment and share with a friend. Like, comment, and if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. And